kinds of information in Russia right now. There's information that's coming out of government propaganda, and that's mostly lies and BS. And there's also information that's coming from an independent media that's mostly based, well, all is based outside Russia. That information is mostly objective and true. If you take a look at the official propaganda, you know, Russia Today, Channel 1, and the likes, you'll find a pretty rosy picture painted. Russia is fighting the war for the higher goal to save humanity from the forces of satanic, evil Americans and their supporters and their vassal states. And, you know, everyone inside Russia is consolidated and united to fight for the goal, fight for the good. I remind you, on February 24th, 2022, there was no holy mission for the Russians and for the country. There was no war with the West. Vladimir Putin, a liar, simply came out and said, oh, we are to denazify and to demilitarize Ukraine. There are too many Nazis in Ukraine and there's too much weapons. And that's it. He also said a few other things. For example, that under no circumstances Russia will occupy any part of Ukraine as it's simply not needed for Russia. And, you know, we all know how that ended. Not my words. Putin's. Oh, you know, not gonna occupy, we're just gonna denazify, we're just gonna demilitarize, you know, that's him who said that. Very soon, that special military operation, as he called it, turned into the war. And first it was the war with the collective West that wanted to destroy Russia's sovereignty and, you know, destroy Russia. And then that war turned into something bigger than that. Russia all of a sudden gained a higher mission. In my estimation, it happened, you know, around the end of 2022. Russia and its people all of a sudden became the last remaining pillar of high morals, Christian values, and, you know, overall decency. That, at least what Russian propaganda's main message is, many Russians actually believe that. And I'm returning to what I started with. If you listen to Russian propaganda, you'll get a picture that everyone in the country supports that Russian higher mission, you know, the higher goal, and is consolidated behind the supreme ruler, Vladimir Putin. You know, all hail, you know, go, 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 the entire country. All, the people, the army, and the elites. Well, the reality is completely opposite. Russian society is divided. There's a chasm growing among regular people, with thousands of Russians leaving the country every day out of protest, not being able to remain there for, you know, for one day longer. There's even more interesting process happening. Russian elites are clashing, and they do it mostly behind the curtain, but once in a while we see things, bits and pieces of information here and there, and they still make it to the public so we can put the puzzle together to see the bigger picture. In today's stream, I'd like to give you that, the bigger picture of current political instability, and just to outline what is coming. And the place private war company Wagner played in this process. Howdy, howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia explained by the unusual Russian. In this stream, you will not find any BS, propaganda, or lies. You will find truth, common sense, and logic, and some emotions, because I am a human being. And you will find quite a bit of information about current political struggles and private armies in today's stream. For the first 30 minutes or so, I give the message, invite everyone after that to join live stream chat where we, make conversations and I answer questions. I'd love that. Thank you. Well, I have said many times that Ukraine's victory will not come from the front lines, but from inside Russia. Russia will politically implode, just like the USSR did. The war will be over and Russia will change forever. Actually, a new country will be born. I don't believe that Russia in its current state has both right and opportunity to exist, further and longer. I don't know what kind of country that'll be, but it's definitely going to be a different one. So many people here on Inside Russia channel have been asking me this one question thousands of times. When will Russians stand up and start changing things? Literally the most commonly asked question here. And the more I've been seeing how Russian people have been behaving, the more I've been getting convinced that they will not rise up. And the change that will come from inside Russia, it'll not come from Russian people. The second most frequent question on this channel is, when will Russian oligarchs rise up and overthrow Putin? Now, that's a much warmer question. That happening is something I actually believe in. Now, what's happening, and what does private war company Wagner has to do with it, I'll try to explain. Russia currently is not well. It's feverish. Its economy is having a high fever, but even a bigger problem is under the carpet of Russia's political games. It's getting close to eruption. And instability period started a long time ago. In my estimation, it started in January when Yevgeny Prigozhin started openly feuding with the Ministry of Defense. He started threatening Minister of Defense of Russian Federation Shoigu with death, with all kinds of bad things. He started, complaining publicly, basically started taking this conflict between him and the Ministry of Defense out into the public. That is a big no-no in Russian politics. And the first eruption already happened. June 24th, Yevgeny Prigozhin captured a large southern city, Rostov, 1 million people city. It captured Southern Military HQ, the command center of the war in Ukraine. It captured 2 high-ranked generals, Deputy Minister of Defense of Russian Federation and Deputy Chief of Staff. He publicly humiliated them. He basically, had them captives, okay? And he started killing Russian armed forces servicemen, shooting down few military aircraft, and publicly bragging about that. Then he publicly denounced Putin and moved all his troops to Moscow to dethrone Russian president in open, making it public in his numerous medias that he owned. And we'll remember that happened 3 months ago. Prigozhin was Putin's early bird, the pilot project, so to speak. And I said in my streams a few times that Prigozhin was a dead man walking. I actually said it twice. First time, I think it was January, when Prigozhin started threatening to kill Russian Minister of Defense and the Chief of Staff. And then I said it on June 26 when Prigozhin turned his troops around and gave the order to move away from Russia to Belarus. Okay, the mutiny was over. And I was spot on. Prigozhin was the dead man walking at that time. He was killed 2 months later to the date of him declaring mutiny and capturing Rostov. Very symbolic. So he didn't last long, for 60 days. It was less than a month ago. It happened on August 24th. But too many things have changed already since then. And Wagner has given a start, and that Wagner event that has given a start to many interesting processes and trends and events in Russia. Basically gave a start to many interesting political actions. Remember I said when the Wagner mutiny was over at the same very day that it was a huge blow to Putin because Wagner showed everyone it was doable. You could move on to Moscow and grab that absolute power and have it in your hands. You could do it, and you can do it in Russia. If you own an army, a private army, if you have guts, okay, and perhaps you have some support of perhaps military or other power groups, you can do it. And Prigozhin showed it. Remember I said that many people were sitting sharpening their knives, asking themselves one question. What if somebody outruns me and gets there first, in front of me? Well, their knives are well sharpened, and now they have started taking actions. First, I'd like to tell you about Wagner, how it's dead now, and what it has happened to Wagner in the previous month. And then I want to tell you, what's going to happen next, in my opinion. And that's going to be a 2-day stream, today and tomorrow, okay? First, Wagner. Prigozhin turned his troops to Belarus under personal safety promise from President of Belarus, and most likely under personal safety promise from the Putin himself. So Lukashenko and Putin gave him personal promises of safety. Wagner has set up field camps, and, within a couple days, all Wagner or most Wagner troops moved there. And it was absolutely clear to me, I was very vocal about that at the time, that both Prigozhin and Wagner were dead. Prigozhin did a big mistake. He publicly humiliated his boss, declaring a take at boss's power. He made Putin look weak, small, defenseless, begging for support from Russians. Putin's hands were shaking. His eye was like going up and down. Remember, it was live, and that was a mortal sin that Prigozhin committed. Putin does not forgive and does not forget and does not forgive that. Everyone was wondering why Prigozhin was left alive after that. And I'll remind you that in the days following the end of the mutiny, the man who publicly hand-slapped the Tsar and publicly killed over a dozen of Russian servicemen, bragging about it, was allowed to move around the country freely. The criminal case that FSB, KGB opened against him immediately after he started mutiny publicly. So that criminal case was closed, and he was given all his money back. He was left alive and rewarded. Unheard of. Many were very upset. Many Russian people saying, wait a second, he shot down the Russian planes, the pilots. What did pilots do wrong? They were just defending the interests of Russian Federation. Putin himself said, everyone stand behind me and we should crush this mutiny and all that. And Prigozhin started killing those who were opposing. So many were upset. But hey, Putin. Let's talk about Putin. Putin knows a thing or two about revenge. He knows it's a dish served as best served cold. And 6 days after the mutiny, Prigozhin got served. His plane was shot down not too far from Moscow, right next to one of Putin's houses. In plain sight, so to speak. One fella, just a regular guy, was filming the entire process on his mobile phone, plain sight. And it's been 100% clear who gave the order to shoot down the plane, as all fingers are pointing to one single man. And the evidence is right there, but nobody cares because everyone knows. Lukashenko came out first after the plane was shut down, and he said, well, I never gave Prigozhin any safety guarantees. Prigozhin had to know better. That man 2 months before publicly said he was guaranteeing safety of Wagner and Prigozhin while they were in Belarus. And, now he's saying, well, Prigozhin he should have known better, Usually right after any flight-related accident in Russia, let alone fatal accident, the investigative committee is all over the place. The investigative committee, probably the best equivalent to the USA is Attorney General's office, a hybrid of FBI and Attorney General's office. So they show up literally as the pieces of plane are still falling from the sky. And they open a criminal case instantly, and they make it 100% transparent and public. And then International Aviation Committee, MAC, comes in and starts investigating, because this is Mac's responsibility, so to speak. That is always like that when something happens. Well, guess what? Not this time. Not this time. A plane is shot down near Moscow. Criminal case is open late. But investigation and, at the same time, investigation is idling. No MAC, no International Aviation Committee investigation is launched. The government agencies have been acting as if no accident has happened. And they kind of have forgotten about that. To top it off, so you understand the official Russian government position on this accident, Putin's press secretary officially commented the situation 2 days ago. Let me quote his words. This is a difficult investigation, a difficult incident. You know what? There's nothing difficult about that. A plane is shot down at daylight near Moscow. It's a crime. It's a murder. It's a crystal clear, thing. But they say, well, it's a difficult. We can't comment because it's a difficult investigation. Nice, huh? Well, Prigozhin's funeral was more like a circus than a funeral. The Russian government was so afraid that thousands of people would show up and create a mob and show a public support for Prigozhin and make him a hero. So they the Russian government made a show out of funeral. They were keeping the place of the funeral in secret, the cemetery in secret, and they staged performances at all St. Petersburg cemeteries. Put in lots of military, police for protection, as if, the funeral would be taken at each one of the cemeteries. So all St. Petersburg, I believe there are 9 cemeteries, had like tons of protection, security, and they wanted to confuse and distract people. And actually, Prigozhin was buried in a small cemetery incognito. Not that I care much, but I don't care. But Prigozhin was done and done. Like I said a few times before, he was a dead man walking anyway. What happened to his private army is was also predictable. The government stated that it started erasing memory of private army Wagner immediately after Prigozhin was taken care of. Putin actually mentioned Wagner when Bakhmut was captured, and Putin said that Wagner did a great job capturing Bakhmut, and it was in May, not too long ago, over 3 months ago. And then right after Prigozhin's death, Wagner had a few dedicated cemeteries. You know what they started doing? They threw out all the wooden crosses on the graves, and they simply rolled asphalt over all fresh graves, a very thick layer of asphalt. And, I know of 2 major cities with 2 major cemeteries where thousands and thousands of Wagner troops were buried there. And they were simply, days after Prigozhin's death, they were just rolled over in cement, I'm sure that this is just the beginning, and all burial sites of Wagner will be taken care of like that. They did it for the 2 purposes, I think: to actually erase memories of Wagner, to hide names of people who are buried, and just basically to hide the number of casualties. Because now, you imagine that, you just get there and it's a flat asphalt field. Used to be fresh graves just days ago. Well, Wagner, the troops, the private army story is actually pretty clear, and it's a showcase for how the Russian government deals with its enemies, and it's actually a push to others to move forward. Wagner was done on the 25th of June. You see, the troops, they were directed into Belarus, but no one really was saying about that, but publicly. But they were disarmed on the spot. Russian Ministry of Defense came in and started disarming them. They took away all heavy armor, all hardware, and even, the guns. So the troops arrived to Belarus, disarmed, okay? Lukashenko was saying, we need to take this experience of fighting from Wagner fighters, and, we need to use them as instructors to our troops, and that was blah, 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 BS, okay? Then there was rumors coming from Lukashenko that Wagner was asking him to let them invade Poland. Oh my gosh, you remember, that was a joke, okay? They didn't have any guns. What invasion, okay? So, throughout the summer, a few things happened. First of all, police. All of a sudden, police woke up and remembered that Pwc Wagner, the private war company Wagner fighters, are actually all felons serving time in prisons. They started knocking on the doors of those who were done with their service times and moved, went back home. So they started knocking on the doors and saying, why are you here? Why aren't you in prison? You're convicted to this, prison term. And I heard of the cases when the fighters were confused. They're saying, hey, we've been pardoned. Well, show the documents. Well, we're not sure it's legit, I haven't heard of any cases when fighters were sent back to prison to do the remaining time, but definitely most have been placed under surveillance and they have been hustled. It's not a bad thing. Then the remainings of the troops in Belarus, they started being pushed to sign contracts with Russia's Ministry of Defense. If you sign a contract with Russia's Ministry of Defense, you become a part of armed forces, and you have commanders. You are moved to different locations, perhaps to the front lines in Ukraine and so forth. So a lot of pressure had been applied onto Pwc Wagner's to sign with Ministry of Defense. And then some troops were moved to Africa. As you know, that Pwc private war company Wagner had a business in Africa. Prigozhin did start with African operations. His private army was created at Putin's order, well, at Putin's permission, so to speak, to have a private army, a private force, a very small but very effective and flexible force in Africa. Okay, and they started making all kinds of illegal money there, supporting illegal dictatorships and all of that. Basically they were using this army in the own interests of Putin, his friends, and so forth. And then Prigozhin moved lots of troops from Africa into Ukraine last March of 2022 to help Russian Ministry of Defense in the war with Ukraine. So he was done, all right, the mutiny was over, and the deal, I take it, the deal was he could move back to Africa. And then he started moving some of the troops. Well, what happened to his force after he was killed? I remind you that along with Prigozhin in the plane, there were 3 key people. 2 of his top commanders, chiefs of operations, so to speak, and 1 guy in charge of all finances, black and white. So all dead. And there were rumors hours after Prigozhin was dead that there was new leadership at Pwc Wagner. And the leadership was called the Committee of the Field Commanders. But in reality, no one claimed leadership, okay? I think all those commanders were either killed because, hey, they are the ones who are moving on to Moscow to dethrone Putin, supporting their boss. They claimed their allegiance not to Putin, but to Prigozhin, who wanted to dethrone. And that's Putin, and that is a big mistake, And in reality, all those remaining troops, they were left alone, and they stopped receiving money. They stopped receiving their payments, and they stopped receiving food. They stopped receiving water, and they basically, started either signing the contracts with the Ministry of Defense or, deserting. That's it. And the field camp started being disassembled, What happened to Wagner troops right now remains a mystery to some of them, at least. Some of them are in Africa. Some of them have deserted, and, and some of them probably signed up by Ministry of Defense. And some of them, the rumors have it, some of them were being transported in a Russian Armed Forces planes, transport planes, to destination unknown. I can only guess what that destination unknown is, and I can only guess what happened to these people. And the chances are we will never, ever hear about them ever again. And the last accident, so basically in the last months, Pwc Wagner was being disassembled, so to speak. And on September 12th, the accident happened in Syria that kind of, solidified all my knowledge about, Pwc Wagner being dead. Basically, it was in Russia we say there was a last nail to the coffin's lid. An accident happened. The remainings of Pwc Wagner are still operating in the African countries, Syria and Libya. Not too many of them, just probably a couple hundred people here and there, under a commander, field commander. Basically not Pwc Wagner, but thugs. They don't have unified leadership, and they're acting to their own purpose, So they had access to Russian military base in, it's called Khamenei or something like that, a Russian military base in Syria, and they could use that base as a transit point to refuel their planes, to arrest their troops, to regroup, and so forth. But after Prigozhin's death, that permission was lifted, no more. And both Ministry of Defense forbade the remainings of Pwc Wagner use their base, and the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been pressing those African countries to cut all the ties with Pwc Wagner, right? So that Russian base does not accept planes anymore. But the Pwc Wagner people, they needed to fly and refuel in Syria to fly further. So what they did is they made a deal with, they had to go fly further down south to Africa. So they made a deal with the Syrians to use the Syrian air base called T4. And then all of a sudden, when the plane, the Wagner plane with Wagner people was flying to that Syrian base, that base, Syrian air base, was hijacked by the Russian troops. They were helicopters. There was special forces put in the base, and they basically took over the fire engines and placed on the airstrips, so the plane could not land, okay? The Syrians were in shock because it was a hostile military act against them on their own land, on their own base by the Russians, and they were told that if that plane would lands, that he's going to be destroyed along with the Syrians. So they were shocked. And the plane, when it saw what was going on, it started, flying around the base. It was running out of fuel, and the Pwc Wagner people who were in the vicinity, they were called in, and they started moving in onto the base to fight Russian Ministry of Defense, with the Russian armed forces, the servicemen, to let their plane land. And basically, it was going to be a huge fight between Pwc Wagner and Russian Ministry of Defense again, okay? But at the very last moment, when the Russian generals, I guess, saw that Pwc Wagner was not giving in, they gave in, okay? They let the plane land. And guess who was in charge of the Russian forces in Syria then? Well, and now, and who was given that order to actually not let that plane land? None other than Yunus Bek Yevkurov, the very same general who was captured in Rostov-on-Don in southern military HQ. The deputy of Minister of Defense, and he was humiliated publicly, and it was shown all over TV and everything, by Prigozhin himself and his troops. He was slapped in the face, basically. And now Yevkurov is taking revenge, and he also likes revenge served cold, so to speak. So, that's what's going on. So the whole Ministry of Defense is so set on eradicating the remainings of Wagner Group that it is absolutely clear that Wagner is dead. No more. And it's only, my bet it's going to take just weeks, Most likely, Wagner troops that remain on the ground in Syria, Libya, African countries, they will be made offers. And the offers, they won't be able to refuse them. And I think it's safe to say that offers not going to be great, okay? But the alternative would be much worse. And perhaps the offers are being given as we speak right now. So it's absolutely safe to say in my eyes that Pwc Wagner is dead. There will be no talks about it from now on. It is dead. You know, so that's what's happened to Pwc Wagner. Prigozhin dead, and his troops are dead. His organization is dead. His legacy is dead. No more. I also checked his media, Telegram channels. There were quite a few of them, and boy, they were active. When he was alive, they were just giving information, videos, pictures, and everything. Silent. Since, I'd say, August 27th. Silent. Nothing. They have been abandoned. Well, no wonder. No one is paying those Telegram content creators, managers, those people who sold their souls to work for Prigozhin and for propaganda, his own propaganda. What are they going to do now? Probably find a job. But what's next? I would say that Prigozhin was a catalyst to political instability. Not just, before Wagner, this instability had been cooking, so to speak, and we could not hear it. But after Wagner, oh my God, the hell broke loose. I'm just gonna give you a little sneak peek into tomorrow's stream, and I'm gonna be talking about private armies tomorrow. What is going on right now? Who's in charge? Who is trying to take over what Prigozhin left in terms of arms, in terms of people and so forth, who wants to build their own armies, who already have their armies and so forth. But listen to this. It's clear now that anyone who has private army can declare a mutiny and move on to Kremlin, and he has a good chance of succeeding, just like Pwc Wagner did. Prigozhin claimed he had 25,000 fighters. Well, no, not really. He had less than that. We don't know how many, but the rumors have it around 10, 15,000. Some even say 5,000. They were experienced, well-trained, and they were well-armed. They could shoot down flying Fortress Command Russian plane, attack helicopters, and it's pretty big deal in my eyes. So whoever has a well-armed, well-trained army is a threat to the Kremlin. Well, if you think who's next, who's first, whose name comes to mind first, who has an army like that? Does the name of Ramzan say anything to you? He's been so proud of his army. I mean, I've seen his advertisement in Telegram. There are rumors that there are 70,000 well-armed, well-equipped, well-trained fighters, and they're part of Ministry of Defense, but they have shown their loyalty to their boss. And where is he now? Have you heard of the latest? Perhaps he's sick? Where are his field commanders, his lieutenants, his generals? You haven't seen them. They used to be public figures. They used to be all over Telegram channels, right? Haven't seen them for a couple months now. Perhaps they're sick. The rumors have it they're sick. When you look at them, you kind of see them not well, appearance-wise, Another news. What happens after his army, let's say, no, I'll rephrase it. What happens what'll happen to his army when, after he, well, let's put it this way, when he's not in control anymore? What happens? Who will control that army? Okay? Perhaps someone who controls another army combines, and that's one mighty powerful force. And Pwc Wagner showed the way, so to speak. What I'm about to say is you probably haven't heard. Right now, as I speak, there's a private unidentified army in Siberia, not far from the city of Irkutsk, okay? But very far from Ukraine, folks, very far. Siberia, in Irkutsk and Ukraine, that's, few thousand kilometers apart. So, right now, a private army, again, unidentified, in Irkutsk, have seized control of an oil company called Dulisma. A few dozen armed, masked men, a private army, simply landed, stormed the company. They started shooting. They didn't kill anyone, but the people, who works for an oil company? Just engineers, laborers, they extract oil. All of a sudden, armed people show up and start shooting. Of course, everyone lays on the ground, and it's in the middle of Russia, okay? And of course, someone calls police, right? But police doesn't come. And it's been 2 days. That company's been not sieged, it's been seized, okay? And these people control the company, and no one knows who they are, and everyone is afraid to get there. Police stays away, army stays away, the politicians, the governor stays away, No one says a word. They're all afraid. These armed men are in control of oil silos and other facilities. They have seized all the operations of oil extraction, and they've seized all the documents of this oil company. And it's happening right now. Remember, in May, I said that there are 7 reasons why civil war is coming to Russia. Well, I think we're seeing the early birds right now. In a stream tomorrow, I'd like to tell you what I think will start happening soon in Russia. And that's been it for today. This is my message. Thank you so very much for coming. Thank you for giving me a chance. It's been a few days. I was not feeling well. Feeling okay to stream right now. Not my best, but much better. And I missed streaming. I missed you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for giving me a chance again. I would like to invite everyone to a live stream chat. I missed that too. I missed chatting and answering questions. Thank you. The live stream chat is on, and it's fantastic to see everyone. Thank you. If you're here for the first time, we have the best mod team in the world. The mods have been very concerned. We've been in touch with them all this time. Thank you. Lorna, Mommy, Bob S., Prince Amir Fazad, and Harry Potnin. Thank you. And the usual suspects. Fantastic to see you. This is how I'm going to make up to you for the missed streams. First of all, I missed a stream on Saturday for patrons and sponsors. Well, I apologize. I overslept. I was sleeping all day and all night, and I simply didn't, I couldn't do it. It was a very strange day. I guess I was recovering. I'm going to make a video in the following few days for you with a personal update, and I'm going to make it available for patrons and sponsors. Thank you so much for supporting me, and this is gonna be my way of saying thank you. And I'm definitely gonna make up this missed stream, and I'm also gonna make a video. I love doing Friday crazy news updates, and I don't do it in one day, but I collect news from every day of the week. So I have all the news. I just need to put them on video and make them available to you. So I will do that. So thank you. The usual suspects. Fantastic to see you all. I see some messages and questions, and let me just jump to them. If you want me to see your message or question easier, please put it in caps and put Inside Russia after @ sign, so I see it highlighted in orange. Thank you. And of course, I acknowledge all super chats. Jeffrey S., thank you so much. It's going much better than in the past 3 days. Thank you, Jeffrey. It's fantastic to see you. Boris, dear Konstantin, many are recklessly talking about possible breakup of Russia. However, I think it would bring a lot of suffering and violence from which no one benefits. Your thoughts, please. I agree, and I agree. I agree that I also am talking about possible breakup of Russia. And that scenario, you see, these actions that Russian leadership or mafia, whatever you call it, the government is taking step by step, makes this scenario more and more probable. I would hate to see Russia break up. I'd love to see Russia shine. Russia being one and being, a democratic country, being run as democratic countries run. I would love to see that. The breakup will bring many tragedies to Russian people. That's going to be a civil war. We've seen it before. 1918, not good. There are so many people died, and that's what I think. They're taking every step closer and closer to breakup, and I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow in the stream. Please come back, and I would hate to see that. Something's going on with my YouTube. Very strange. It's doubling the super chat somehow. Another stream I'm gonna make soon is about North Korean boss, mafia boss. North Korean mafia boss visiting Russia, and this is a crazy news. This is insane. It's definitely worth dedicating a stream about that. It's comedy and tragedy and shame at the same time, But let's talk about it later. White Lightning, how could North Koreans substitute for Wagner PMC? No, they can't. Could Russian Volunteer Corps and National Republican Army be ones to take Siberia and all refineries? No. Just gut intuition, guesses from me. No. I think, I think this just, some government's people, some prosecutor general of this region or governor's team, they just took it over. Because if it was someone from Ukraine or from the Republican Army, whatever, National Russian the Volunteer Corps, that'd be all over the news. That'd be fighting, that'd be army involved and so forth. But, simply, it's either politicians or KGB loyal people or something like that, That's how Russia works these days, unfortunately. KG1, thank you. A few reports Ramzan Kadyrov had died or critical coma today. Well, I kind of hinted you in the stream that I've seen the rumors. I think that he is not well, but that's, again, just my thoughts. If he died, we would know about that. Okay, it'd be all over. In critical coma, I don't know. But judging from the pictures of him, did you see his pictures? I mean, just go and Google it. And just his pictures, one picture is better than 1,000 words. Just look at one picture, recent picture of Ramzan Kadyrov's face, and that's going to tell you everything. Look, some kind of strange thing happening in YouTube. Boris, okay. I've shown some translated clips of you to friends here in Germany. Your arguments shook quite a bit of Russian propaganda minds. Always keep in mind how important your work is. Boris, thank you. Danke schön. Alleluia. Alleluia. This is what I do. This is like the best. You know, thanks for the message. Money's appreciated. It's welcome. But the message is just gets right into my heart. Thank you. This is exactly why I do my streams. This is exactly why I try to share my message with as many people as possible. If I, for my arguments, change someone's minds, oh my God, this is gold. Thank you so much. Whew. Hey, Frank in Texas is here. Thank you for gifting sponsorship. Thank you, friend. I see a message from White Lightning, the Warthog defense channel says he's in coma and stage kidneys failure. Don't they have kidney dialysis machines in Russia? I always rely on two things. When I do the streams, I rely on facts and I rely on common sense in my analysis, okay? How can I know what is really happening to Ramzan Kadyrov? It's all rumors. Please, show me a picture where he's laying in bed, bedridden, okay? Show me that. That would be a fact. Even though it could be Photoshop, but at least show us something. Now, I've seen his face. Everyone has the pictures. And the face is like I said, it's louder than 1,000 words. But how do I know that he's in coma and stage kidney failure? Said who? His doctor? I don't think so. I don't think his doctor speaks much, Whew. And yes, they do have kidney dialysis machines in Russia. And if they didn't, Ramzan Kadyrov has many private planes. He would have flown to Saudi Arabia, to Dubai, to Abu Dhabi, to Turkey, where he has friends. He has the best medical care available to him, okay? It must be something serious. His face, did you see it? Jill Williamson is turning 60 today. Oh, I'm fired up. I haven't done streams for a couple days. Amir, thank you. Let's do it. Everyone, please cover up your ears with your hands. I'm going to sing to Jill. Dear Jill, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jill. Happy birthday to you. Happy 60th birthday. Please have many great returns of the day, and I wish you all the best. Good luck, lots of love, happiness, and good health. Happy birthday. Thanks for being part of Inside Russia. Dacian Rider says, Rip Wagner, you won't be missed. I agree with you. I will not miss Wagner. I don't think anyone will. They were bragging, oh, we're going to be the best in hell. I know, I'm pretty sure that now you're having a good try of being the best in hell. You having... Oops. Whew. Folks, I won't make the stream very long one because I'm still feeling kind of weak, believe it or not. Not as energized as usual. Sing happy belated birthday to Michael. Thank you, Jodes. Thank you, Joe. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I will do that. He's sleeping right now. I will definitely do that. We had a good celebration. We actually had two celebrations. One was at the Breakfast Club, and boy, it was fun. I was not feeling well. I took NyQuil and DayQuil and quite a bit of it, and it kind of like took care of the symptoms. So we went to the Breakfast Club. I, warned everyone to stay away from me, and there were about 26 people showed up with a bunch of presents for Michael, and he was so excited because a bunch of adults, greeting him and saying congratulations, Michael. I have pictures, I have videos from Natasha's fantastic stuff. You know what? I should make a private video, short video for sponsors and patrons. I'll do that. And Joe's Rames, thank you so very much for your super chat. I appreciate it. We'll buy something to Michael. LMVG, thank you for always interesting, unique presentations. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support, and the words are priceless. Money is very appreciated these days, very welcome, but the words, that's what keeps me going and keeps me moving forward. Thank you. Mikael, you think you're from Germany? Michael? I'm sorry, I'm pretty bad with German names. How long will it take before Putin will lose control over Russian internal affairs? On which factors will it depend besides losing in Ukraine? That's what I will be talking about tomorrow. My bet is Putin's going to be out of the office by the end of the year. Again, you can write down my words. I'm not saying I'm 100% sure, but I have a gut feeling, okay, based on what I know. We'll see whether it happens or not. Then I think that he has lost a great deal of control over Russian internal affairs. He's not completely out of control, but he's not in control like he used to be any longer. And then again, please come back tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking much more about that. Amir, thank you so much for gifting sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you, friend. I appreciate it. Andreas Benz, well, I have heard the rumors, but I have not personally met him. And I cannot say that all these things, I just don't know. Robert Whip, good to hear that you're okay, feeling good again. The most important thing, just to let you know. My friends, I'm gonna tell you this. I've shared this with mods, I've shared with a few people here, but there's a community of people here in Tashkent who left Russia. In 2 weeks, it is going to be 1 year. And I'm organizing a large offline event for this. I want to film. I want to make it public. I want everyone to see the way that we have traveled, the road that we have traveled over this year. I have created a community with over 1,000 people, real people that I know personally. We meet regularly. we eat together, we drink together. Well, I don't drink, but some drink. I drink. All I drink is tea. We sometimes spend time together, travel together, things like that. I know quite a few people. I've made friends here in Tashkent, and I tell you what, most people that I know, most people in our community, have started having problems with their health. Small, medium, and big, serious ones. Couple people are seeing psychiatrists because they're having problems with big depressions, big, like, real bad stuff. Some people have autoimmune diseases. That's tough, and some, like, couple people are incurable. Some have tumors, and lots of people get sick often. Lots of people, like, I'm feeling it myself. I've become sick often, okay? And we have doctors in our community, and they help a lot. And there's a common explanation that there was a huge stress that we went under. And more or less we're fine now. We're doing much better. We're not as much stress as it used to be. And now our body starts kind of, fighting back by not our body, but our bodies. We become more prone to becoming sick in each one of us in a different way. And this is what's happening with me. I had headaches 3 weeks ago. Then I became sick, just regular stuff, but I didn't usually become sick so often. September is coming. I usually get sick at the end of September every single year. I don't know why, for a few days. And most people I know in the Breakfast Club, here or there, something happens to them. Serious, not serious, but some seeking for doctors. Oh, do you need this doctor? Could you refer me to a doctor? Things like that. Some just don't show up for breakfast for a few days, and then some let us know. We have a big Telegram chat, So I'm okay again, but, this is what's happening. I think a lot of us have PTSD. I'm not really very familiar with this thing. I never heard of it before, the war happened. But I think it's taken effect on pretty much in all of us in one way or another. So, sorry, it's been a long explanation, but I think this is what it is. Lorraine, thank you so much. Please get Michael a gift from me and a belated happy birthday. Thank you, Lorraine. I will do that. I will just let me write it down. And how about if you email me, I will take a picture of what I buy from you to him, and I'll send it to you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lorraine. So, remember English only, or win a free vacation from the stream, says Bob S. That's so funny. Alan Doyle, thank you so much. Amir, do you think it qualifies as a syndrome? And do other experts in other areas like Turkey or wherever see that the same? Okay, Amir, good question. I don't know about the other areas, but I am set on figuring that out because it really is a point. Like, it's interesting and it's concerning at the same time. I'm trying to figure out a way how to help people with this thing. because I literally started noticing about 3 weeks. I noticed about myself that I get sick, I not feel well so often. Remember I had a problem with my ear out of the blue. I never have. I have like perfect hearing. I never have a problem with that infection. And then I had headaches, and then I had high blood pressure, and I had this, and so we started putting twos and twos together with my friend brain surgeon and other doctors, and this is what we think. It's like big stress, and then after it's over, your body starts kind of deteriorating and getting sick more often, and just like not necessarily getting sick, but whoever is prone to whatever, some people get tumors, some people get autoimmune diseases, some people just get problems here. And so I don't know what you mean by syndrome, but I will figure out. I will get in touch with the communities, and in Turkey, in Kazakhstan, in Georgia, and in perhaps Slovenia, because I have definitely Sri Lanka. I have friends in every community. It's going to be easier for me to to do that. Jekyll N, thank you so much for your support from Australia. Thank you, friend. No message as usual from you, but thank you. This message is strong enough. Roger, thank you very much. I appreciate very much. Again, no message, but this message is huge. And Sean, great to see you, and thank you so much for 20 sponsorships to 20 people. From me and from 20 people. I appreciate it, friend. Thank you. So, friends, I think I'm going to be wrapping up soon. I am literally tired. The heck? It's impossible. I have just been sitting here for like a little over an hour drinking tea, and I'm tired. Whew. Terry Carter, thank you. Couple super chats from Mati. Thank you so much. Is it from Finland? Thank you. And Robert, keep you and your family safe. If you ever need help, video editors, doctors, or whatever, do let me know. Okay. Robert, thank you so much. Surrounded by all doctors, video editors, but I will definitely keep your offering in my memory. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. Tail end of being sick, rest is good. Ferrari guy, I've been resting a lot lately. I overslept the stream yesterday, woke up after midnight. And I usually do it at 9 p.m. And I was like, I didn't even tell anyone that I wasn't going to do. I was going to do that, but it's I overslept. But I'll make it up to you. And Stefan from Sweden, thank you so much. Good evening, Konstantin. So pleased to see you live stream again. You can count on me streaming for as long as I can physically. Hope you take care of your health. The best I can, I'm so amazed of your passion. Really admire you. Such a good cause. Blessing to you and your family. Give Michael a treat from me. Thank you so much. I will do. I definitely will do, Stefan. Thank you. I will write down, and if you email me, I can send you a picture of what kind of treat I bought Michael from you. Thank you. Stefan. I'll write it down. And thanks for huge support. And Micah, delayed side effects even months later is very common. This is what it is. None of us know anything about PTSD, okay? Because we never had it. No one in Russia has heard about it, had heard about it. And this is it. Thank you. Delayed side effects. Your body focuses on surviving, but the physical and mental toll eventually comes to the surface. Please take days off when needed. I don't really feel like streaming and doing YouTube really overloads me. Sometimes emotionally, well, quite often emotionally, but the thing is, even if I don't stream, I'm still emotionally overloaded because I get the news all the time. That's what I do. I speak to people and that doesn't, it concerns me. It doesn't go without a trace. It doesn't go past me, it goes through me. But thank you so much. Delayed side effects. This is what I was looking for. Even months later. Very common with PTSD. This summer, we all, boom, started not feeling well. Thank you. Friends, I'd like to wrap it up. Invite everyone to pray with me. As usual, thank you. Tomorrow, I hope there will be an interesting stream. I will be telling you more about this event happening at the oil company right now. This is totally ridiculous. I mean, it would have been funny if it wasn't too sad, okay? I will tell you about other private armies I know of. I will tell you of the power groups that are struggling, fighting with each other, and I will tell you why I think Putin is not in control, or at least not in complete control anymore. So please come back tomorrow. It's going to be another good stream. Thank you. And, let's pray. Everyone, please join me in prayer, as usual. This is probably the best stream, best part of any stream, praying, which is I enjoy very much. Ian, I don't think that Putin sent poison to you, me and my friends. No, I think it's different explanation. The poison would have been very quick, and that's it. Me, I could understand, but why my friends? Just for the fact that they left, there are over 3 million people like that, and Putin would need to send presents, so to speak, to 3 million people. So I don't think that's the case. So anyway, let's pray. Thank you, friends. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for giving us these lives. Thank you for surrounding us with people that are part of our lives. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Dear Lord, please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and clear. Give us wisdom to show them example of goodness so they see it and they grow up to become good adults that will always be friends with each other, will never engage in any wars with each other, and will make this world a better place. For now, dear Lord, please keep our children safe and healthy. Please help the Ukrainians in Ukraine. The country has suffered so much, and its people suffered. Please help stop the bloodshed as soon as possible. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of people who are responsible and capable, and show them what they have done. Open their eyes so they wake up from their lethargic sleep and get absolutely terrified. And the least they can do right now is to stop the bloodshed. Have them do that. Please help every single Ukrainian who has been affected by this terrible tragedy. Answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Send angels to Ukraine so they keep people away from harm's way. Dear Lord, please help my country, Russia, assemble the army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords, and led by Saint Michael in shining armor, and send them as heavenly avalanche to this earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country and have made it what it is today. Please have angels run Russia. Please make it peaceful, loving, loved, respecting, and respected. Please send help to all people who are traveling. Send them safe travels. Send help to all who are in trouble right now. Send help to all who are seeking for asylum, running away from evil. Please bless everyone who's helping Ukrainians. Help the Ukrainians who are suffering from the strikes of Russian missiles. Please keep everyone safe. Please help single mothers raising their kids by themselves and struggling making ends meet. Please help all the sick, the depressed, the homeless, the jobless, the hungry, the ones who are not feeling about themselves, not feeling well about themselves, the ones who are struggling with faith. Dear Lord, please shine your heavenly light upon those people and send love to their lives. Send love to them so they feel better about themselves and they feel better about their lives and they feel better about, the world in general. So they get up from their knees onto their feet and have a chance of better life. Please help every single person that needs your help. Thank you so much for bringing us into this community and allow us to be part of this group. Thank you for everyone who is praying along with me right now, or simply watching us pray. Please answer everyone's prayers and make everyone's wishes come true. Thank you so much, dear Lord. I'd like to ask for a few people. They are Jason Connor. Please send him speedy recovery after his surgery. Janice Stevenson, Jay Spike, Leslie Fleming's daughter, Buzz Simon, Sam from Kiev, Eileen, Wayne, who is fighting 2 cancers. Please send him help. Ann Larson, her family, daughter Hannah. Amir's uncle Dicky, Patty L., Liz Dumbrell and her family, Darla, White Lightning, George Ruberty, Dave Strains, Pam. Julia Haney, Hannah, Vasilin Lubomirov, Susie Mailer, Gloria Roberts, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Svetlana, Paul Binns, Angelic at Life, Richard Burris, Rafaela Fromm, Randolph, Mr. Dean Spooner, his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Grace Philosophy, Allison Dave Moyers, EMS Paramedic Liz, Susie Mailer, Jen Allen, Stefan from Sweden, David Porter, his family, and all people in Chernovtsi, Ukraine, Susan Marshall, Alvin, Joan Lee McMahon, Terry Carter, Metta Spencer, and Pamela J. Dear Lord, please also help all the children from Ukraine who has suffered from this terrible tragedy and been affected. Send them your angels, send them your help. And please help all the children in the world who are not feeling well. Send them recovery and send strength to their parents. Thank you so much, dear Lord. Amen. My friends, thank you. It feels so good again to stream. It feels good to pray. It's fantastic. You are absolutely awesome. Thank you for coming back. You know, every time I miss a few streams for any reason, you know, there's a little fear that once I start streaming, there's gonna be no one. So, and it's such a pleasure. I'm happy when I see so many people coming back. Thank you. You're absolutely awesome and you rock. And please come back tomorrow. I'll have another message. And before I sign off, I would like to, as usual, I'd like to ask you to say along with me as loud as you can the following. Carthago delenda est.